So here's the last video on suspension bridges. So Matteo, just give us a brief rundown on all the parts.
Yeah, sounds good. So for our suspension bridge, we have two main cables, and both of these run over a tower. And in our case, we have used a chair, and this piece of wood is to keep the cables from bumping into each other. If you're building this at home, anything really should work as a tower. Just make sure if it's something like a chair, that the front legs are facing the bridge. This is so that it won't tip over. So if you have something like this, set it up in the same way.
Okay.
Our main cables run over the tower and into a anchorage. In this case, we have taken a piece of wood, put two hooks in them, attached it to another piece of wood, and placed our weight on top. In your case, you could do the same thing, or if you don't have a lot of weight, you could have someone step on it. You could tie this into the bottom of a table, the bottom of a chair with someone sitting on it, just as long as it goes down into the ground with a weight.
Okay, so now we're starting off. First thing we have to do is adjust the two main cables, and you should start off with them being pretty much horizontal.
Yep.
They're sagging too much here.
So when you go to tie it, have the cables be pretty taut, like that.
Yes.
And then once you tie it off, they'll droop down.
Yes.
Just like that.
Partially because of the load and partially because the string is pretty flexible.
Yep.
Okay, so how do we adjust the...
Well, we can do that using what's called a half hitch. I'll show that here.
Well, no, we need the trucker's hitch.
Trucker's hitch. Sorry about that. It's a very useful knot. It lets us adjust the height of the line and tie it off pretty easily. So, like I said, have it pretty tight, almost horizontal. And then we take our line, grab our hand like this.
Okay, well, I tell you what, let's do it with the orange line. So just tie that one off.
Sounds good.
Well, you know how to do that. Trucker's hitch. Okay, so now that the white line is pretty much horizontal, which is what we want. Okay.
Pretty much, yep. And then we just tie it off. I'll show you how to. This knot lets us adjust it pretty easily.
Okay, so now for the trucker's hitch. That's the one we have to learn.
Yes, it is. Oops. Yeah, make sure your line doesn't slip off. Okay, pull it tight, just like that. Take your line. I'm going to wrap it around this just to keep it taut. Pull it up. Okay, take your hand, grab your line, twist it up.
So now you've got a loop that you reach through the loop.
Take your fingers, reach inside, and grab this line right here.
Good.
Pull it through and out. If your line slips, that's okay, just put it back on.
Okay, all right. Got to do that again because I lost the frame. All right.
So hand, grab your line, twist it upward, just like that. Hold it in place. Take your fingers, go inside of the loop and grab the back line, and then pull it through the loop and then down and out.
Okay. Then what?
Now we take our line over here. We run it into the loop towards us, just like that.
Good.
Grab it, hold your line, and then pull it to you. Okay. This is where the knot becomes useful. You can adjust it to whatever height you need.
Okay. So pull it so the orange line is about horizontal.
Yep. Grab your...
Oh wait, let me come back there.
Yep. Grab your knot right there. Hold it tight. Go around the back. And then push it through. And that should tie it tight.
Okay, that's called a half hitch. Okay, so both main cables drooped a little bit, but that's okay. Okay, what do we do now? Now we have to attach the deck.
Yep. So, for our deck, we attach the deck to the main cables with what are called suspenders. And these suspenders are held to the main cable with a cable clamp. That looks like this.
Okay, so take off the nuts.
It consists of 2 nuts, a saddle, and a U-bolt.
Why do they call it a U-bolt?
Well, it looks kind of like a letter. I'm not sure which one though.
Yeah, okay, there's the U-bolt.
There's a saddle.
Now, when you use those to connect the suspender to the main cable, which
How should we attach it?
yeah,
Well, so the purpose of these is also so we can move these back and forth. And to do that, we want to take the U part, the U-bolt, and put it under, like that. And then the saddle on top.
so when we slide the suspender is that the white line,
Yep.
that slides along the U-bolt.
Yes.
Okay,
This gives us the least amount of friction. If you did it the other way around, it'd be far too hard to move.
good.
So we throw it on, put our suspender through it, and then take our nuts and tighten them up.
Okay, so now, good.
Just like
So
that.
get rid of those. We don't need that.
Yeah.
So how do we adjust the length of the suspender? Well, I tell you what, first hook on all the suspenders to the J-bolts.
Yep. So our deck has a bunch of J-bolts. I have a nut and a washer, pretty loose, so that they can move up and down, just like that. All you do is we make a loop in the suspenders, and we put the J-bolt on. This is easier with 2 people, but it's definitely doable with 1.
Well, we'll see.
Just take your time, it should be fine. There you go. They're all on. The only problem is, as you can see, the main deck is kind of sloping down like that. When you go to put it on, there could be other issues like the suspenders are out of place, and to fix it, you have a tool for that. What we use is a 4-in-1, just like this. You can take the middle part out. It has 4 options, so it's a 4-in-1. The reason why we use it is because when you take it out, that's the perfect size to get these nuts.
Okay, so wait, let me take a close-up of that. Yeah, you could use a socket. This is a little handier. Okay.
Looks
So
like
that's
this.
just the right size to tighten the nuts on the cable clamps. Okay, now, here, let's see no, move back off for a second. So this end of the deck is low. So if we want to raise it up, we can, what are you going to do to raise up this end of the deck?
What I'm going to do is loosen these 2 nuts, just enough, and then I'm going to grab my suspender, hold it tight, and then pull it up, like
Gotcha.
that. And then you want to hold it tight so it doesn't slip, and retie those 2 nuts. Make sure you do it on the other side too so it's even. So loosen the 2 nuts. You don't have to take them off all the way, just enough, and it looks like this slipped off. In this case it's actually too high. Loosen these more, so I'm going to pull it down a little bit. That looks about right.
Okay. You want to shoot to have the deck pretty level, but don't forget, you've got 6 suspenders, and each time you adjust the length of the suspender, it's going to change everything else.
Correct, so it can take a while. Now, you can also maybe have your suspender be at an angle like that, and you go to put it on. All you have to do is loosen your nuts, and then slide it over, so that it's completely vertical.
That's what you want. So the suspenders should be vertical, and each pair of suspenders should sort of line up with each other.
Yeah, these 2 line up, these 2, these 2.
Good.
And it looks about even, so we're good.
Okay, so let's say we wanted to put a, do we have a, okay, wait a second.
Well,